Now, President Barack Obama has made his plan to avert the fiscal cliff very clear. He wants to raise taxes now. And by the way, he'll get back to us with how exactly he intends to cut spending later. And that is why Speaker of the House John Boehner told reporters today that, quote, no substantive progress has been made on reaching a deal. But the reason why the White House is being so evasive when it comes to curbing Washington's spending spree is because President Obama has no interest in reducing the size of the federal government. And like so many Democrats before him, well, now he's dangling the prospect of future budget cuts in the hopes that Republicans will take the bait. Now, with that in mind, it's important to remember the words of President Ronald Reagan. He wrote them in his own autobiography, and he described in great detail a deal that he struck with Democrats in the 1980s. The terms of the agreement: Democrats promised $3 in spending cuts for every dollar of taxes that were increased. Well, unfortunately, the tax hikes came first, but as Reagan later wrote, quote, the Democrats reneged on their pledge, and we never got those cuts. Now, perhaps that's why some on the right are crying foul about the secrecy surrounding these modern-day negotiations.
The only thing these secret talks have produced is a government that skips from one crisis to the next. All of this secrecy allows the president to petition himself, frankly, as being in favor of a balanced plan. That's what he says. I favor a balanced plan. Basically, it increases taxes to fuel more spending. That's what the plan did. The White House isn't planning to raise taxes to reduce the deficit, raise taxes under their plan to expand government. And that's not acceptable.
All right, Republicans, I hope you're listening. Joining me now with reaction, Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall and radio and TV talk show host, a Sean Compton's production, Billy Cunningham. Billy Cunningham, Senator Sessions said Geithner describing Obama's plan was a fantasy. Mitch McConnell laughed out loud when it was given. It was so one-sided. And our own Charles Krauthammer said this is not a bad deal, it's an insulting deal.
Sean Hannity, 30 years ago, Reagan O'Neill sandbagged. 10 years later, Bush 41, read my lips, no new taxes. Congressman Jim Wright, Speaker of the House, sandbagged. Bush 41 got unelected. I guarantee you, a year and a half ago, you might recall, Ryan gives an actual budget. It is passed by the House, and then Obama invites him in. He insulted Ryan, insulted the Democrats, called Ryan unpatriotic, then went on the campaign trail, and he gets elected by 51% of the vote. Mark my words, Sean Hannity, if the Republicans cave this time, they're going to get the same results that Reagan got and Bush 41 got, which means tax increases and no spending cuts. Nobody believes that, but maybe Leslie Marshall.
Leslie Marshall? Why not? Why not? Wait a minute. We have a spending problem. Why not do it now? Why is Obama? No, I must raise the tax rates, my way or the highway. Give me what I want first. What kind of negotiation is that? And what's his plan?
Well, I don't think it is a my way or the highway. And Bill, sorry, I know that you love to look at my green eyes in person, that I'm in L.A. today. Sorry about that. But, hey, listen, if we're going to look back 30 years to when we had a different Congress, a different president, a different America and demographic of America and the American voter, that I think is crazy. The president has agreed to cuts, which, by the way, is going to hurt me personally because my husband's a doctor. And we're talking $400 billion in Medicare cuts. In the future. We're talking
in the future.
Put Social Security aside. Yes, in the future.
In the years from now.
But Sean, this plan actually sticks very close to the framework of what actually Speaker Boehner wanted. So I got the tax
increases now, and Republicans give in, and then the cuts in the future. That's what's going to happen.
This is a unicorn budget. It doesn't exist. He's campaigning right now. He's doing a victory lap all over the country. He ought to be with Boehner talking John. I tell you, I saw the movie Lincoln a few days ago. Leslie Marshall, you ought to see it. He did what was right, Lincoln did, and not what was popular. Of course, 98% want to raise taxes on the 2%. Right now, Boehner's got to do what's right and not what's popular.
But you know Boehner. Boehner has, and the Republicans have a big weapon here, although the president is trying to get unilateral, take away the constitutional authority of Congress and wants to be able to raise the debt ceiling, Billy Cunningham, which we're coming up again against 16.3
Sean Hannity, what's wrong with the fiscal cliff that Obama designed? This is Obama's fiscal cliff. If the Republicans cave, we're going to have a fiscal cliff in about 3 or 4 years. That's going to be the Grand Canyon. We're going to go collapsing. It's going to be awful.
I agree with you.
We got to right now fight like warrior poets, like William of Wallace and Braveheart. Tear out my guts. Fight for America. We can win it in the next 30 days.
I'm with you, mate. All right. Leslie, seriously, why can't we have some significant spending cuts now? The president said First of all, he said he only wanted $800 billion when he was running. Now he's doubled it. But there's no cuts. Are you saying that government can't find waste, fraud, abuse, and cut back on their intoxication and power grab with spending?
Well, I agree that Medicare is one program that has a lot of fraud. And quite frankly, the president has been very clear that there are going to be two sides,
When?
Republicans and
When are we
Democrats, are
gonna
going
get
to
it?
have to suck it up. But what you
When?
guys call caving in, I call compromise. Even Congressman Cole
Republicans
said,
compromise,
listen, we are
caved,
not
and
violating
what is
our tax
Obama giving
pledge if
here?
we let something expire at the end of the year.
Future spending cuts that'll be non-existent, Billy Cunningham.
Sean Hannity, here's
No, they
the
won't be
moment.
non-existent.
We've got to fight for the future of our nation. If the Republicans collapse, they're going to be primaried, and guess what? They're going to be gone.
I agree with you. All right, guys, good to see you. It's not, as Charles Krauthammer said, it's an insulting deal.